Joining us to discuss this is Vice President, International Police Association and security analyst Enock Alumasi Makanga. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
All right. Kenyans don't seem to be very pleased, even though the initial protest or agitation was against the finance bill. Now they're asking President William Ruto to step down because, as we've seen, there have been reports of loss of lives in the protest. How differently could this have been handled to prevent us from getting to this point where they're now agitated and saying, not signing the finance bill is not good enough, that the president has to go? How differently could this have been handled?
Okay, thank you for having me. Things are cooking up and there seem to be a problem, I think, on the side of the presidential advisors. I think the people who advise the president on security issues, I think made serious blunders. First of all, they underrated the youth. When the youth came up and they said, no, we have problems and problems are not being sorted out, I think the government completely underestimated this youth. Now, why did they underestimate them? These guys are very good in digital mobilization. They formed up a very serious mobilization strategy. And when they said we are coming on streets, first of all, these guys did not even think about, they didn't think about these people actualizing their protests. So the surprise of the government, these guys gave a notice that last Tuesday they are getting into the streets and they are going to parliament. Now, the mistake that the government did was that, number one, they did not put in place a serious security mechanism to protect the parliament. So they thought, these are small kids, there's nothing they can do. And then number two, they did not put in place a good mechanism to deal with riots. Riots have got a way that they are dealt with. First of all, with the first layer that deals with talking to the protesters, making sure that you use the diplomacy to bring them down. The second layer brings in the guys who are having the tear gas, be able to disperse them. And the third layer is the one that is having rubber bullets to be able to shoot if the rioters. So these guys did not put in place such a system. And then number two, as I said, they really underestimated them. And these guys were very many. There were more than 10,000 in the streets. And the number was just huge that these guys, the police could not be able to handle. So the whole day was messy. A lot of property was destroyed properly. In fact, this is the worst demonstration from independence that we've ever had.
I'm glad that you've brought in the police, and thank you very much for mentioning some of the mistakes and the ways in which you think President Ruto should have handled this differently, not underestimating the young people, being able to have conversation with them, maybe to reason with them, not having enough security to protect the parliament. But the police and the security officers have come under fire. There have been allegations of them having directly shot at protesters, leading to the death of some of the young protesters. How do you react to this?
Yes, I was on Citizens TV yesterday in the morning, and I addressed the president straight away. I told the president that he has not organized his security teams. His security advisors have given him wrong information. And one of the problems that we had is that the police shot very many people. We've been told there are around 10 people who died. But from the information we've received yesterday in the evening, I think they are trying to hide information. A lot of people died the day of the protests. And then with the issue of what President Ruto promised. President Ruto's campaign was he wants to economically empower the low-income guys, these guys who are selling things in the market, these guys who are doing these low-income jobs. So when he was walking around campaigning, he was telling them, I'll change your lives, I'll change your lives, I'll give you jobs. He really put hope. He really put a serious hope on Kenyans. And that's why guys actually voted him overwhelmingly. Unfortunately, I think what has happened is that things have turned upside down. Number one, a lot of thefts are going on. You can see government officials giving a lot of money, $3 million, around $30,000 in church fundraising. And these guys are talking badly. They are saying, there's nothing you can do. We are in the government. There's nothing you can do. And now these are the things that agitated the youths. We are talking about, you are saying you found no money in the government coffer. And then on the other hand, you are making international trips. This guy has made more than 68 international trips. And when the president goes outside the country, he goes with almost like 200 people. It's the advance party that goes where the president is going, and then there's actual team that flew him with a plane. And then the worst one was when he actually hired a special jet from Dubai to go to US. So these are some of the blunders that the Ruto has done, and it has costed him very, 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 very heavily.
Yeah, let me just also ask. I mean, I'm not sure if the protest, will continue even after the finance bill has been withdrawn. But the next couple of days, of course, will tell us more. But as it stands,
today things are hot. As we are talking today, things are hot. Today things are hot.
All right. So as it stands, would you also support those who say William Ruto should step down beyond the finance bill? Taking a look at how he has also handled Kenya and looking at some of the things that you've mentioned, would you also join the call or those who say William Ruto should step down?
The first blunder he made the day before yesterday, the evening of the protest, he came on TV and he gave a very bad statement. First of all, as a president, you don't just come and start saying, these youth are criminals and I'll deal with you accordingly. I've instructed police to make sure they shoot you to kill. He talked very badly. That is now what was in the situation. He talked very, very badly, not giving any confidence to the families that have lost their kids, not talking about the finance bill. He talked very badly. I think it is after this that I think his advisors talked to him yesterday and told him, man, you made a very serious blunder. Can you go back to Kenya? So yesterday is when now he came back and he was now more polished. He was having them peace. He's saying, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm pulling down the bill. The deputy president came out again after the speech. They just followed each other like 1 hour, and they said, Kenyans, we are very sorry. We apologize for what we have done, and we are asking you guys not to go in streets. Unfortunately, these guys have not made a decision. They are very good, serious digital mobilization. They have sent out very many calls saying, guys, we should not, let's go to State House. Because we have no leader, so he cannot talk to us. We don't have leaders, so let's go. So today's aim is they want to go to State House because Ruto has said he wants to talk to them, and they are saying we have no leaders, so we come into State House to come and meet you. So I think that's now where the problem will come in. Because
but what I'm asking is, if the conversation moves into a William Ruto should go, would you support that? And do you have, would you understand where that is coming from? Do you think that William Ruto should also step down from your perspective?
According to the Kenya Constitution, that cannot happen. That's not possible. Ruto stepping down, that's not possible. It will not happen. What I know in Kenya, it can't happen. That's what people are saying. But Ruto stepping down, no. Ruto is not that type of person you can tell him to step down. Number two, these youth they are really burned out. Somebody goes to university, gets a degree, 5 years, he has no job, 6 years, he has no job. So, and then we have so many of them graduating every year, like around 10,000, 15,000 graduating every year. So this was the good time, a very good opportunity for them. When they just got a small opportunity, they said, wait a minute, now, this is the time now to fix the government. So now the issue is, I don't support the issue of them doing. The only problem is now, I'm just wondering how the president will handle the issue, because he needs to now calm down. He needs to really just find a way of how we deal with this youth. He needs to appoint a team to be able to assist him in terms of how do. But if he applies the ruthless hand, telling the police to shoot and kill, now that will complicate issues. In fact, today, if any of them are killed, now that will complicate issues. So what now matters is now the Solomonic wisdom, how this president will be able to actually handle this issue and deal with these guys as far as this matter is concerned. It's a very complicated issue, balancing between the rest of the government, the rest of the Kenyans, and then dealing with this issue. It requires a serious brainstorming and coming up with an issue on how the president will deal with these issues. Otherwise, as we stand right now, they've said it's nonsense. They can't listen to him.
Okay, now you're saying that President William Ruto cannot be asked to step down based on the constitutional provision of Kenya. But let's talk about the MPs. We saw the votes for and against the bill. 196 votes for, 105 against, and 3 votes were cancelled. And these MPs have been largely criticized. The same MPs who supported the bill were the ones who, applauded when the president said he was no longer assenting to the bill and they were getting rid of it. What do you think will become of these MPs? Is there a possibility that these young protesters might start to recall the MPs? What is the possibility of what might be done to them or what might be asked of them?
The MPs are greedy. They are very greedy. They, like now the bill, they were given each one 2 million, around $20,000, for them to vote yes. And that is the main problem, because you can see all of them have been attacked. Their homes have been burned in their villages where they come from. Kenyans are saying they will not vote them in 2027. Some of them are already preparing recalling them from the MPs possible. You simply require you put in place signatures that are around a third of the total voters votes. For example, if we have got 60,000 voters, if you're able to get 20,000, then the IEBC, the Electoral Commission will just confirm the signatures and these guys are recalled back. So most of them are facing a problem where they were elected. And the other problem is if they meet the youth, by bad luck they meet the youth, I think they won't survive. They won't survive. Some of them may be killed. Some of them will be injured. That's the problem that these MPs are having. And then the government, the parliament, I think, is in recess. Why they are going in recess is just to avoid them getting confrontation with the voters. And the voters now waiting for them in the upcountry where they were voted to come in as MPs.
I want to talk about the police as well. Are we expecting that there will be a thorough investigation? There were allegations of police shooting live at protesters. I know we've talked about this earlier, but do we expect to see a thorough investigation being done? Do we expect that they will be made to answer for their crimes against against the humans of Kenya?
It's not possible. In Kenya, we normally say that we shall have investigations being done, but at the end of the day, investigations are done. It will be announced publicly that investigations will be done. But the way we work in Kenya is that police cannot investigate themselves. Whenever we have a shooting, we have an internal affairs police unit that investigates police. But at the end of the day, we rarely get results of what they've investigated. I know the government will say police will be investigated, but ideally, I don't think that will be done because they also fear the issue of ICC coming on board and saying now, can we have the president again going back to ICC to answer charges of murder? That's what they are trying to avoid.
All right. I also want you to speak about what happens next. Where do you see the rest of the week or the next couple of days? How do you see things turning out? And also former President Uhuru Kenyatta, has he had further conversations concerning this? Is his name also coming up in any of the conversations generally?
President Ruto, Uhuru, nothing has come out. We only saw his appeal to Kenyans to stop chaos because he said if this happens, I think it's going to break in Kenya. And you're saying the President Ruto should calm down and stop just stamping. I think that one came out very clear. That was good in terms of the former president telling the president that please listen to Kenyans. That worked out very well. Now, as the way the week will look out, I'm looking at what comes out today. If at all the youth will come out in large numbers like what happened on Tuesday, then that means this thing has moved to another level. I expect two things. One, there are those who might say, wait a minute, the president has withdrawn his heart stand. Why can't we just sit at home? So if the numbers are not big, let's say the half of what happened on Tuesday, then that means some of the youth will see there's no need of going to the streets. So the few ones who will get the streets can be managed by police. But now the problem is if these guys come out the way they are saying that today they want 1 million people on the street, then that will become complicated. And that's why I was saying that it requires Solomonic wisdom for this police to be able to know how to deal with these guys in order to avoid just complicating issues and making it very more difficult, like what happened and killing them.
All
That
right.
will actually bring issues.
I think my final question would be, what's the hope for Kenya to generate revenue? We know that part of the reasons why this finance bill became a conversation in the first place, because they are owing a lot of money. And rather than cut on their own cost of governance, we're seeing that they're trying to tax the people more. So if the finance bill is out of the way, what are the options for Kenya to generate revenue? Are these conversations even brought forward in the first place?
Yes, he informed people yesterday on TV that they will try to use what is available. And he says they will stop the project that were there, that were initiated, that was supposed to be initiated by that bill, once they get the money from that. The problem is Kenyans are being taxed so high. I mean, the people are really suffering. Companies have closed. Kenya Revenue Authority have closed so many companies because people cannot afford to pay. You know, this came as a result of the COVID, which I think even you guys, you had a problem on it. So the problem we've had here is that the people are really suffering. There are a lot of people are suffering. There's a lot of unemployment issues. People are not investing in Kenya, they're investing in Tanzania and Uganda. And, you know, that brings a problem because, you know, if an investor is not coming in Kenya to create job opportunities, now that tells you very clearly that there's a problem. Because the number of youth that are coming from universities are very many, and yet jobs are not coming by. Now, the investors are not coming by. So these are the issues that you see the frustrating Kenyans. Now, when President came on board, he was really very optimistic. He told Kenyans, guys, I'm coming on board. I'm telling you, the mamas who sell in the market, who sell eggs, who sell fish, I'm telling you, I'm going to change your life. You know, people really thought, hallelujah, this one now, we've been saved. This guy is a savior. All of a sudden, now, these guys are taxing bread. These guys are taxing salt. These guys they are just now pressing that small man who is on the ground. That's now where the problem has come in. Guys have realized, oh, kumbe these things didn't work out. This guy was cheating us. And now the one thing that the president has, he has a very good, he is charismatic. You heard like when Obama is speaking, Obama is very charismatic. When he holds a mic, he drives the agenda in a very fast way.
Well,
just the way Obama does.
Yeah,
the same thing is that's how Ruto does. That's when Ruto holds a mic, my friend. The guy is very sweet. He is very sweet. Many
people disagreed with his last speech. It didn't seem very sweet. The one before, you know, him having kicked out the bill. But we'd love to have you again. We know that they are overtaking or they're going marching to State House today, and we hope that we can get some positive feedback. And then we'd love to have you join us to have a conversation again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'll be available to be able to give you what's happening. Thank you so much and welcome again.
All right.